Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the full update to the best relics tier list. Now, remember, we're going to rank these not only as like the best ones to put on your best champions, but also which relics should go on your champions, right? We're trying to answer the questions you are actually asking. The Spreadsheet Wizards looked at all the comments you were leaving on the various tier lists and we're like, hey, we need to completely reformat this list. And for those of you like, dude, what are you talking about? You can see we've got the relics ranked here based on their pairing with the champions. Remember, if you don't have the right champion, what good does it do to rank up Ant-Man if you don't have one of those Power Sting champions? And then again, the Spreadsheet Wizards, like what they did is just ridiculous. Make sure you make your own copy of this tier list and then you use that checkbox like you just saw me do. And then you can go and see like, well, okay, I've got this champion. Which relic is best for them? If you don't see an answer for them, it means there just like really isn't necessarily a best one. Use any one you want in order to get the striker, right? Or what's available for your account. Because again, when you look at like the Hulk relic on the science list, so many champions are going to benefit from it. And then sorry for the lack of face cam. I'm sure some of you aren't too upset by it. I am very, very sick. I realized I was getting sick on Thursday, but I've been telling you for a long time I was going to get this out. I wanted to get it out. I know a lot of you are looking to get some relic information going. So here we go. And I'm going to try to go pretty quickly through this one before I completely lose my voice. We're going to talk about the champions that have the microphones, just like our regular tier list here. We're going to start off with the new champions that we haven't covered yet, and anyone that's been promoted or demoted. You can see we're starting off with Spider-Woman. She appears as though she's going to be incredibly powerful. She's one of the champions I'm very much saving my Titan shards to get. She's going to benefit from basically the Power Sting. So not only the power of the Ant-Man relic itself and what it does for Power Sting champions, but then her being a Power Sting champion as well is why we have that as high up as possible. The next champion we'll talk about is Falcon Joaquin Torres. Now, he's a really unique champion, and you can see we've got him actually called out in 3 different relics, and the designer even called him out with 3 different relics. I like that in that it helps you really like disperse your relics. Like we all know what that's like when you go into quest, you don't have a relic on your champion. You don't need to throw like the Ant-Man one on him. He does benefit because it puts the Power Sting on, which is an extra debuff. He also does the physical damage, so you can see the Hulk one there as well. And then, of course, the Captain America Infinity War. So if you're enjoying your Joaquin Torres, you could really pick from a variety of these and lean into what it's doing for your champion. The other one we're going to call out on science, there's only one other, is Red Guardian. I am working on the full showcase. I have done an initial video, and then I just put him in my recent rank ups video, which will also come out this weekend. He's doing that big red burst damage, the physical damage. It's also adding an extra debuff for him. So the Hulk one, because I love him so much, being Red Guardian, he's my only rank 4 science champion. I am putting essentially my best, my most wanted relic, right? That relic has the most asked for. If you look at this class, how many pair so well with it? I went ahead and put it on Red Guardian. It's just making those big red numbers that much bigger and redder. Hey, a very quick aside, a lot of work has gone into this tier list, from the Spreadsheet Wizards completely formatting it to the Illuminati going through and pointing out things like you're going to see in this video that were champions that we had already felt very comfortable with, and I appreciate them. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, please go ahead and share this with a variety of your line chats, your discords. So much work and time has gone into this. It would be extremely helpful to us getting the word out and working with that YouTube algorithm. All right, let's get to the rest of the video. Moving on to the Mystic class, you can see we have actually only one update in Mystic. It's only been no new champions have come out since we did the last update. But this is an update from Simula himself. You know, like I said, the Illuminati goes through this every single month. I appreciate the heck out of them. And Simula's like, hey, you know, Mojo really needs to be promoted. And that makes complete sense. We're seeing how powerful Mojo can be. The atrophy and the power of that. If you're not familiar with atrophy, is it's reducing the duration of the buffs on the champion. So this is like not like America Chavez, you get stronger with the buffs. And this isn't like your Fate Seal or Neutralize or Nullify champions who are removing them. Mojo's actually making them expire more quickly. And then this relic is significantly helping out his degen damage. And then you can see the legend there. We've got the call out of the kind of like the bullhorn there, the microphone, if you want to use that term. He's actually a named or tagged champion. A lot of these relics, not all of them, but a lot of these relics are going to specifically benefit a named champion or sometimes the hashtag. Really great call from Simula. No shock if you're familiar with this channel. You know what a smart player is. Make sure you go subscribe to those Illuminati. It's going to help you get even better at this game. Moving on to Cosmic, we've got obviously the Phoenixes, Dark Phoenix, and then Buff Phoenix, and then we also have new champion Gallon. Just really want to talk briefly about him. He's obviously not new, but new as a 7-star. As far as Dark Phoenix is concerned, you know, the designer even specifically called out, and I like when the designers do this. It's very helpful because we still need to go in and learn about the relics, learn which slots to put them in and things like that. But he called out, like, you could use Gamora or you could use Thor. When that happens, the Thor one is so insanely strong. The damage increases from the Furies and all of that, that I usually go towards the Thor one, just like as a default rule, as you're looking through like what you're trying to do. Make sure you keep that in mind. You could use either, and you know, the Thor one, it's like the Hulk relic. It's got a lot of ass. So keep that in mind as you work through. And then the next one we will talk about very quickly is for regular Phoenix. So again, the Thor battle cast. Is this really a surprise? No, it's not. I don't think she like necessarily needs it, or it's going to accentuate her as much as the other champions. We may see over the next month or two where she gets promoted, being Phoenix with the Thor relic up here into this next level with the Scorching. But she's one where I think the way her damage works, you're going to be A-okay. In fact, again, Simula just did a how to use her video in case you're interested in her. And then I will be getting out a full review on her the day the quest to get her goes live. And then the last champion we'll quickly talk about here is Gallon. You know, we really could probably put the broken heart emoji with him, as like, use any relic champion is that good. Because remember, his damage, at least his harvest damage, is really only on his base attack. I do not believe no, in fact, I know for a fact that the Furies that get accentuated by the Thor relic aren't going to increase that. But as you start to quest with Gallon, his Furies can actually get pretty strong, making his basic attacks do decent damage. If you're going to lean into that, you know, similar to me with Red Guardian, where he's my favorite, it's not going to make as big of a difference as with Gallon as with Red Guardian, but you may want to look into that if you don't have one of these other champions like Angela, Beta Ray Bill, or Odin, or Serpent, or Thanos. You know what? You're probably going to have someone else. You're just going to be A-okay with Gallon, but at least did want to call that out. All right, let's move on to the next class. Moving on to tech, we're going to quickly talk about Lady Deathstrike and Arnim Zola. Again, Simula called out that Lady Deathstrike can actually benefit. It's slight. That's why we've got her in super hot. Now, remember, when we're ranking them this way, we're showing you like how big of a difference are they making to the champion, and also how good is the champion already, right? We're trying to kind of give you that sense. We don't want you out there ranking up Red Goblin so you can take your Kang into war or something like that, right? That's like Jay Will. He's an amazing player, but that's not what we're suggesting for the vast majority of players, right? So that's why we're looking more at the left side as we do this tier list. It is actually a tier list as well. But Lady Deathstrike, remember, Green Goblin, what that's doing, one of the reasons why it is as powerful as it is, or as highly respected as it is, it's reducing the cost of your specials. That's a really big deal. Now, it's nowhere near as strong or as much as like Shocker's signature ability, but still, it's going to help you get into your flow better. And Simula specifically called that with Lady Deathstrike, who does also pair well with other relics too. The other one is Arnim Zola, who's new since we've done the last update to this. The designer specifically calls out, there's nothing necessarily essentially about like damage or things like that that's going to help with Zola, but using the striker to get the opponent in the corner, which they call out. And then again, your specials costing less helps you throw more specials, which is really, really nice for Zola. And then the other one we will talk about very quickly is a new champion, Bastion. You know, I'm very excited to get him. I think he's going to be definitely one of the strongest tech champions in the game. We've got the horse emoji because we really got this from Beta Ray Bill and Thor. So that's why this is the first time we'd seen it. Is they're specifically saying any level of relic gives basically the same benefit. I love seeing this. I know some players don't like it, but because it slices a couple different ways. For me, I'm like, awesome. I now have a use for my 3-star Sentinel relic. That's not going to help you out with the spirit and how frequently you can use the striker, but it does make me feel like I'm getting a great use out of my 3-star relics. Bastion is one of them. Put your Sentinel on and have a great time. Moving on to Mutant, the first new champion we'll talk about is Jean Grey. You know, the designer didn't even call out a specific relic. I think it's because none of them are like massive for her. She's kind of amazing on her own. That's why we've given her the use any relic champion is that good. Another champion I am very excited and hopeful to pull in the Titan. So if you've got your Jean Grey, you know, and you're trying to figure out which relic, go with what's free, what's available. There might be a slot that you're like, hey, I like playing her this way. It slightly benefits. But overall, I would suggest putting your relics that are really high powered on your other champions are going to accentuate them more. Jean, she's good on her own, baby. You don't need to worry about it, which is a really, really nice thing. Moving on, we'll talk about Gentle. This is thanks to Adamantium, pointed this one out. Big Gentle fan. Gentle's really climbing up the ranks. We've talked about like, hey, what Gentle's good at is being asked for more and more. And one of these is he gets his pursuit, right? Which is turning off evade. I think when there's a bleed or someone tries to bleed him, well, Mr. Sinister Relic puts the bleed on or tries to bleed. You can help get that going, and it's going to help with his damage too. I think it's off of his SB2 if I remember correctly. So something to look at if you're looking at your if you're recently pulled Gentle, you're really enjoying Gentle, which again, another champion I'm hopeful to pull in the next Titan here. And then we'll quickly talk about Cyclops. Cyclops is phenomenal. I did the video on him. Really pumped up. I didn't even show the synergy that has been corrected that was bugged in game. Really, really powerful. Trust me. Yes, I understand it's disappointing if you are hopeful of that, but without it, he's still a bonkers champion. I did the new champion video, and I know a lot of you are like, Storm, isn't that energy damage and whatever? And again, the designer calls out that, and I guess in the game, his beam blasts are technically energy damage, despite maybe not being fully lore accurate. I think that's cool that they went with it, they acknowledged it, and the Storm Relic, really, really nice. I think it's with the prowesses and the unblockable as well. So that is the Mutant Relic update. All right, and then the final class for this month will be Skilled. The updated champions, or the new champions since the last update, are Lumitrix and Lena. You can see they're both paired with the Black Panther one. Makes sense, right? Guaranteed critical hits or critical hits in the skill class. You're going to want to almost always look directly towards the Black Panther. Yelena in her elimination mode. I did the new champion video on her. She's really good. She's going to be a good defender, of course, too. But I actually found myself really enjoying using her offensively, so make sure you check that out. And then Lumitrix, the other side of this is obviously a damage beast, right? Using his own miss mechanic and things like that. Germ has been showing us. Allison's been showing us. So this is the relic, and you want to spec into obviously the crits and the guaranteed critical hits and those sorts of things. And then you can move on down through the tier list here. I realize just based on the sizing, sometimes it shows, sometimes it does not. And that is it. Make sure you make your own copy. We may go back to updating this like every 2 months. I know Kabam is going to start making new relics. They've announced that. Really excited. We'll figure out the best way to implement that into this sheet. And remember, it was the Spreadsheet Wizards. They were like, listen, you're doing a good tier list, but the audience appears to be asking for something slightly different. And then they just made this whole new tier list. I could not appreciate them and the Illuminati more. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think we got right. Let me know what you think we got wrong. Take care.